So you have a half-ton truck and you want to tow your boat, or maybe you don't want to tow anything. You're going to want to stick around and see the Cirrus 620. Super cool truck camper with really everything you need. Let's take a look. Hey everybody, I'm PJ from Princess Craft RV. Today I want to show you around the Cirrus 620 truck camper. This is one of the greatest truck campers on the market for one reason. It's super cool. All right, not a lot of information, but it weighs 1,565 pounds. Yep, fits in almost all half tons, but you know, it's got a toilet in it, it's got a nice queen size bed, seating, cooking, everything that you need, and it fits in a long bed or a short bed. So, if you want to tow your boat, you want to get out there with a truck camper and have all the adventures, you're gonna want to see this truck camper. So let's go inside and get started. So this 620 fits inside a half-ton truck. Not only that, a short bed. So how much room can it have? Well, this feels amazing. You've got windows all the way around. We're gonna start right back here behind me, and you're gonna look at the door because great storage there. Who knew? This is one of the nuCamp signature doors, and you've got storage pockets at the top. You've got a window so you can see who's behind you if you're inside. Of course, you got a blackout shade. And then you've got another storage container at the bottom and the fire extinguisher, all on the door. Now, over here, you've got a 4.6 cubic foot refrigerator. It's 12 volt. Now that's nothing to worry about because you've got a 100 amp lithium battery that comes with this camper, all included. Let's take a look at this refrigerator. You've got a fair amount of space. You do have a pull-out drawer at the bottom, a little freezer at the top. I mean, it's kind of the size of a shoebox, but you know, with a refrigerator this size, I'm okay with that. Down below, you've got a nice seating area right here. So really seating for three, that's pretty comfortable. But underneath here, that's where the toilet is. Let me show you. Just lift up the cushion, the back folds up, and the side swings out. Cassette toilet right here. Yeah, you know, it is kind of in the middle of the room. I know I'm going to get comments on that, but it really is just middle of the night emergencies, right? So it's right here, 5-gallon reservoir, easy to dump. I'll show you that on the outside, and really nice to have that there. That is one of the biggest complaints we hear in a small truck camper is, you know what, I might be able to do without a shower, but I really don't want to do without a toilet. I mean, I hate traipsing through somewhere in the middle of the night. So there you have it. And it doesn't take up any space because it's a seat when it's not a toilet. So that works great. Now on the other side, you've got the stove and the sink. Pretty nice sink for a half-ton truck camper. It's about 6 inches deep, nice rectangular shape. Glass top stove here, a nice 2-burner. Remember on this, you need to lift it up to fold it back down. And, you know, most of the time you're probably not using the stove, so that is your countertop right here. Keep in mind, in a space like this, you've also got a tabletop right here, so if you needed to prep food, very easy to do, all in one space. Storage right here, nice little inserts. They're about 2.5 inches deep, and all of your controls are up here on the right. Now this has got gray and freshwater here. The freshwater, it's going to be 18 gallons. It will say a 20-gallon tank, but really only 18 of it is usable because of where it's placed. And then you've got a 13-gallon gray, and like I mentioned before, 5 gallons on the cassette in the black tank. Yeah, that's right, because it's technically a cassette toilet. All right, down below that, of course, the water pump, the porch light. You do have the sink light, all these nice accent lights that they have here, and this one on this side. Did y'all catch that? The lighting is all recessed. I love that. That is really nice in a small space like this. It is 6'4" height in here, but if you're camping and it's really dark outside and you're taller than I am, because you guys probably know I'm only 5 foot, right? I can hear you saying it with me at this point. The lights right here, it's going to be in your eyes. So great job recessing the lights and lighting up the countertops so that you can see what you're doing. Let's look at the storage. This has the push button knobs where you pop the knob out and that is going to unlatch the cabinet. I love this Euro style cabinets. You'll notice right here in this first one, there's a microwave. The microwave is an option. There's only 3 options on this camper. Everything else is standard. So the 3 options are going to be the microwave, the rooftop AC, which is a Dometic 11,000, and you do have an awning, a side awning that's an option. Those are the only options. Everything else is standard in this camper. So if you didn't want the microwave, you'd have a little bit more storage. I mentioned in the very beginning that this trailer weighs 1565. That is the base dry weight. If you add those 3 options, I would expect this to be a little over 1,700 pounds. So keep that in mind if you're concerned about weight in your half-ton truck. All right, so a fair amount of storage. Over here, they've got a middle shelf, so nothing really tall over here, but certainly you could store a lot of things in that area. And let's look at storage on the other side, because you've got 2 more compartments over here. Now that one has the shelf in the middle, and that as well. You can also see some more things in this cabinet that I want to point out. Now this is the sprayer for outside. I'll show you that when we get out there. Here is the Voyager camera, because there is a backup camera that comes with this camper. Not an option, it's standard. You know, backup cameras, especially if you're towing something, are really helpful. You can see, you know, if the cover's blown off your boat that you're trailing behind you, those kinds of things. You can also see if someone's driving behind you. So a real nice thing to have. Now, right up here in the corner of this cabinet, you'll see the MPPT controller. That is going to take the solar coming in and keep those batteries charged. You do have standard on here 310 watts of solar power mounted on the roof, standard on every 620. So that is going to be the controller for that. Now, something that you can't see is the Bluetooth Smart Shunt battery monitor. That's going to be an app on your phone, so you can see how much battery power you're using, how much you have left, all the things you want to know if you're camping off the grid. Now, if you really want to camp off the grid, there is a lithium upgrade. I know we said there's only 3 options on the camper, but there is a lithium upgrade that's available, and that will upgrade your battery from 100 amp hours to 270 amp hours. Oh, it's huge. And that's also going to include a 3,000 watt inverter. That inverter will allow you to run the AC options on this camper for a period of time. How much time? That really depends on how much power you're using and, you know, whether you run it on eco mode. So keep that in mind. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be glad to help you through that. All right. So we've talked about everything you can add now, the lithium upgrade and the 3 options. Let's continue looking at this space right here because there's a little bit more to look at. Now on the other side from where I was standing, you can see there is a facing dinette right here. It does have the lagoon table. If you're not familiar with that, it moves in all the directions. You can swivel it around, you can turn it this way, you can move that wherever you want. For right now, I'm going to leave it right there and show you that there's open space here. You do have a household plug on this side, and on the other, of course, 2 USBs and the 12-volt round plug. A little shelf right here. You know, I use every horizontal space I can when I'm in a truck camper. And then you've got an open space underneath. So a little more storage, of course, great for charging things right here. There is one more open cubby with the netting in front. on the end of that seating. But other than that, underneath these seats is all the gear needed to run this camper. So there is no storage underneath these seats. You will see some access panels behind that cushion right over there. Let me show you that. I'm going to move this around, get it out of the way. Kind of odd camera shots, I bet. But let me scoot this over because you can move it any place you want to. So behind this cushion, you'll see an access panel. And you see it says battery disconnect. Because when you pop this off here, there's your battery disconnect right there. That's probably the only thing you'll ever need inside this panel. The controls for the electric jacks. Occasionally you might need a reset there. Be sure to ask a technician how to do that. They can walk you through it. But this is going to disconnect the battery when you're in storage. If you disconnect it when you're traveling, it's not going to charge. So that is only for storage purposes. Now you will see two more of these panels. One over here and one behind my seat here. Those are all just access for lines, for any kind of checking, maintenance. So this is the only one that you really need to get into to access to operate anything. Now, in addition, you'll see right down below me here, there's a tiny button. That is going to be for your battery heater. Lithium batteries work really well until it gets down below freezing. And then they'll operate just fine. They just won't charge. So if you get down into freezing weather, just flip on the switch right there. It's going to heat up the battery and it'll operate beautifully. So that's what that switch is. On the other side, you will see the converter, which is going to be the auto detect converter. But since your camper already comes with lithium, it really doesn't matter. It's going to be set to run that lithium battery. It also will have your breakers and fuses right on the front panel. Always easy to access. And then next to that, the carbon monoxide and LP detector. It's going to smell any kind of off-gassing. If you fry a lot of bacon, any smell in here, it's going to detect. So be sure and keep that working and test it before you go out. And stay safe, right? I want to show you the windows because the windows are a key factor here in this camper because when you're in a small space, you need good airflow. The AC up there is going to do great if it's really hot outside, but a lot of days when you're camping, you just want to open the windows. So these are dual pane acrylic windows, very nice to insulate when you need that, but this one is open all the way. All you need to do to close it is to loosen these on the outside. It is simply a tension fit. If I wanted it right there, maybe not quite so open, maybe it started to sprinkle, I can set it any place that I would like. Now when you bring it in all the way, you have two options to latch it. The first option to latch it is to put the latch right here in the slot. It looks like that would be the way to close the window. However, that is simply going to allow some air to come through and keep the window secure. If you're sleeping at night, you might want a little bit of air coming through there. If you travel like that, there's the possibility that air could come up through that window and literally take that window off. So you want to be sure that the latch is all the way in front, and that secures the window for travel. Now all of these windows, there's 4 of them, two on each side, so 4 windows in the camper. And then there's the large Stargazer window in the front. It opens a little different than you may be used to, but I really like the fact that it opens up so that the air is going to escape really quickly out of this camper. So we'll take a look at that once we're up there. But it's not a huge space here, but it works great. Really impressed with what nuCamp has done here. It's been a great seller. We can't keep them in stock. So if you've got a half-ton truck, this is something you might want to consider. Let's crawl up in the bed area and take a look at what's up there. A little bit of storage, the nice windows. Let's go. The breeze up here feels great. And this is a queen size bed, but it's a short queen. It is 60 inches wide, standard queen width. But instead of being 80 inches long, it's 76. And by the way, the facing dinette down below it also goes into a bed like most dinettes do, and it's 30 inches wide and 77 inches long. So still a nice sleeping space for adults. All right, now that we've got that out of the way, wow, I love this. You've got recessed lighting right up here, nice open window on both sides, great cross breeze here. You do have these nice cabinets on the side, and the top just lifts up. There's no spring, there's no catch. Just lift it open, and they're about 5 inches deep, runs the length of the bed on both sides. So really a great place for clothes or maybe just a catch-all. Now up front, you do have a little bit of storage right here. Pop that open, and that looks like storage, but it is going to be your Alde tank. With the Alde, you do have to check the glycol. So this is where you can check to be sure that it is within normal ranges and add some if you need to. A little bit of a cubby right up here you can use, and up above, that is going to control your Alde system. So very easy to use. We do have videos online that'll show you all of the details of that. And over here on the side, there is a pop-up with a cable connection. So if you have a satellite, a portable satellite that you use, or you happen to be at a park that has cable TV, you can hook up right there. You can mount a TV, but there is no preset place for that mount. You know, I've seen people who also just set a little TV right here. Regardless, that is there for you. And this is the switch for the lights right below it, a 110 plug underneath that. So all of it is right here on the side of that cabinet. Now let's take a look up here at the front of the bed. There is a nice cup holder, which seems maybe a little bit overkill, but I like a cup holder for one reason. When I set my ice water in there at night, I want to be sure it's not dripping all over everything. So that is going to contain any condensation with your cold drink. I mean, that's kind of nice, right? So right next to that cup holder is a wireless charger, but if you pop it up, you've got 2 USB plug-ins as well. So easy to charge, however you'd like to do that. The lights are the standard ones that they use, where you can actually have a blue light. I know it's hard to see with the filming now. And then you can hold it down and it turns white. And of course, hit it again and it turns off. This piece of it is going to be the same on both sides. So there's a fair amount of like low storage here, but it feels very open, really nice with the windows. And oh yeah, the Stargazer window we were going to look at. Let's take a peek. Right over here, you notice this window opens this way. So I can look at the stars right here. It's fabulous. All of these windows are going to have a screen that comes down from the top. They're also going to have a blackout shade from the bottom. So if you don't want to look at the sun coming up in the morning, just pull up the blackout shade and it's good to go. But maybe you just want the fresh air. It's really nice to have this big old breeze. This camper is so open. I'm really impressed with everything that they have included in this half-ton truck camper. One more thing before we go outside, you may have noticed this is a pretty thin mattress. I'm sure they're trying to increase the headroom up here. You know, when you try to make a lightweight camper, you've got to give a little in almost every area. So this is the smaller foam mattress, but it's really comfortable. And the reason is it has the Froli system underneath. That Froli system acts kind of like a box spring. It gives the mattress support and it helps it to contour to your body whenever you lay down to go to sleep. So don't be afraid of sleeping up here. It really is comfortable. You'll be impressed. The other thing that Froli system does is it helps with the condensation. Whenever you have an outside wall, and particularly a mattress on top of it, it's easy to get a little condensation under the mattress, but with the Froli system, there's airflow under there and you don't have to worry about it. So great job, nuCamp. All right, let's head outside. There's a lot to see. When you're camping, airflow is really important inside the camper, and especially if you're dry camping. So I like to point out that you do have this screen to leave the door open, and that even adds to the air that can come in and out of this space. Really nice feature. All right here, the back of that cassette toilet that we looked at. Very simple to use. Just lift up the lever and it slides out. Now these cassettes, they're made with handles all over them. Some people don't like being quite so up close and personal, but it's easy to use. Now, of course, this would have a cap on it, but you just swivel this open and dump it in to maybe, I don't know, the bathroom at the campsite, maybe a dump site, maybe you take it in a Walmart, dump it in their bathroom, maybe you take it home. If you need to wheel it across the park, all you do is lift up this piece right here, and the whole thing is going to wheel with you. Very easy to use, of course, handles again to put it back. And when you slide it back in, it automatically opens up and it's ready to use. So really, so easy to use, very clean, very safe. Right underneath, let's take a look. This is a little unusual. Inside this compartment, you'll see a couple of different things. You will see a freshwater tank drain. You will see low point drains around the bottom here. This will be your sewer hookup for your gray tank, and hook up right here, and that is going to be what goes into the dump station to dump that gray tank, and also your plug-in. So this can plug directly into the 7-pin plug that's most likely already on your truck. Let's slide that right back in there, get it out of the way. Now moving around to the side, I want to show you something else that's really handy. Most of the time when you're putting a truck camper on your truck, you need special gear to attach to it. Now with this, you can use the tie downs that are already on your truck, and it's a ratchet system. This ratchet pulls out, you connect it to your truck, and then ratchet it down tight. Very simple to use. Now there is some extra gear out there if you want to add some extra features that are a little stronger, but for most situations, you don't need to. All of the attachments you need are right here on all 4 corners. They're easy to use, they're quick, and they're already included. Right up here is going to be a gas port. If you want to, of course, barbecue out here, just plug it right in and you're good to go. Up above, you'll see the propane tank right here. It does have a regulator on the side, and right next to that there's a little extra space. So this is your shore power cord if you wanted to plug in at the campsite. Now you can't fit 2 propane bottles in here, but it is nice that they left a little extra space for storage. All of these outside doors too are really nice on this. They've got these marine locks. Lock them down, keep them watertight. Well done. This is the shore power cord receptacle right here. Plugs right in. That's going to get you AC power either at your house or at the campsite. Now, we didn't talk about the electric jacks inside. There's a remote, very easy to use. Just raise and lower the jacks, and it's going to be very simple. Raise up the camper, back under it, and drop it down in the center of your bed. With these ratchet straps, no extra gear needed. Let's keep going. Bumpers on the front that will go right up against the front of your truck bed, and 110 outlets, always handy when you're setting up a campsite. Now this one does have the optional awning that also has the LED light strip in the bottom of it, and this is the vent for the Alde system, which will not only be your heat but also your hot water. And the radiant heat you get from this is so nice. In this space, it's so nice not to have that forced air furnace that just comes on and off all night. It's a very quiet, very seamless system. I love it. Right underneath, you can see ratchet straps on this side. I also want to point out, they do put the center of gravity on here. Now that is where the truck camper is balanced. So you want that center of gravity to be over the wheel well or in front. So you can see, nicely done. This is going to be a great balance. Now coming around the back, there's one more spot we haven't looked at, right here. So this is the Nautilus system, and it makes managing the water system very simple. Your water hose that's connected to the hydrant comes right up. There is a port underneath here, so it comes up through the floor, so you can keep this cabinet closed, and it comes right up through the bottom hatch, and it goes right into your city water fill right here. That's going to connect the camper to the hydrant if that's what you're using. Then you have the coiled hose that clips in right here for hot and cold water, and up above you see there's 4 knobs, and those levers are going to tell you how the water is distributed throughout the camper. Don't worry, there's nothing to remember here, because just above those levers there's a picture for every scenario. So you just decide whether you want to run on city water, whether you want to fill the fresh tank, whether you want to winterize, all the different ways to use it, all explained at the top. Just set the levers and you're good to go. Now to the right of that, you'll see a switch that turns the light on inside this compartment. So if it's dark, you've got it made. Again, really nicely done. So this fits so tightly here, you're not going to have rainwater getting in, and they even put a lock on it. Really nice. All right, we've got one more space right down here that is just storage, and who can use a little more storage on the outside of a camper? Up top, I want to mention there's the backup camera that we talked about and the porch light on the left. Now, one more thing I want to mention. On this camper, there are some color choices. The base color here can be white, it could be silver, or it could be charcoal. The trim is always black, and the graphics generally are black. But if you come around over here, you'll see that there is an accent stripe. Hard to see on this one because this accent stripe right here is black. But you do have an option if you wanted this to be a burgundy, a silver, or a white. Because you have different options on the base color, this stripe right here can vary. If you wanted a splash of color, you can get that. All right, I think I've showed you a lot of features on here. If you have some questions, please let us know. Always glad to help you. I'm PJ at Princess Craft. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.